Hi guys, Purab here. Today we are going to talk about the most awaited Sony camera 63,000, which is recently declared by Sony in New York press conference. So that is the really uh, great camera which is released by Sony few days ago. I think 2 days ago in New York press conference, Sony released this camera. This camera has a really great feature which is great for photography and video work. For me actually, I say that is a great for video work. Let's go over the its some of the feature. It has a magnesium alloy body similar to a6300, which is really similar to body size is really similar to 6000, but the features are really amazed. It has some really great features. It has a magnesium alloy body, weather sealed. There are some reviews on internet which I saw, but there is no as such review uh, by the people who really use this particular camera. So we can't say that really weather sealed or not, but Sony is actually saying that is weather sealed camera. Okay. uh, this camera has new robust lens mount which will be used for heavy cinema lenses. Sony added new sensor protection to this camera. It has a dust and moisture protection inbuilt to the sensor, so you don't need to worry about the dust and moisture. That is the biggest part when you are working in the field, you are working in the jungle or cold area. So in that scenario, you are mostly worried about the moisture and the dust. So Sony added this particular feature that is really a good feature for videographer as well as the photographer. uh, the third one, which is a really great feature for photographers and most videographers, the most I think this is the great feature which is added by Sony. I didn't see this kind of feature in any camera, which is power by USB. Yes, you heard right, power by USB. That is the new feature added by Sony. Let's say you have a mobile phone like this, or you have a power bank which has a huge power supply with you, with a lithium power supply. So Sony, you can use your phone battery as a power resource to your Sony newly released 6300. So that is the great feature by added by Sony. In this camera they added new feature called digital level gauge in APS-C camera. So in APS-C camera, Sony added this particular feature. This is a great feature for wild photography. In some extent that will be useful while doing the video. For video, that is also great. There are some easy function buttons added by Sony in this camera, similar to A6000. So similar to A6000, you can customize function button as per your need. So there is no change. So what Sony offered in this particular camera is the 4K video. The 4K video, which is very nice feature, newly available in this particular camera, which is 6300. What is the good part about this particular camera is they are actually collecting 20 MB of a raw image data from particular sensor, and they are downscaling to 8 MB 4K image. So you are getting a really nice quality picture or video from this particular camera. So while doing this particular for collecting the 4K video through this particular newly added sensor, uh, you you will be you will check there is no image banning or image banding in this particular camera. So this has no pixel banning and image banding in this particular camera. This camera has a 4D focus feature, which is similar to A7R and A7S. This kind of feature they have in their full frame DSLR, which is A7S or A7R or A7 was one only feature they doesn't have, which is in body axis image stabilizer, that is not available in this particular camera. I still doesn't own any of Sony camera, but I am planning to buy this one. And the not buying the Sony mirrorless camera, the only reason was the mic input. They doesn't have mic input in their DSLR camera. 5100 or 6000 it doesn't have mic input. So in this newly announced 6300 camera, they have mic input. That is a really great feature. So I another great feature they have added the great low light performance like A7R, and they extended their ISO range to 51,000. We don't find 14 stop of dynamic range in any other APS-C camera. So this camera offers the 14 stop of dynamic range in body. So that is a really great feature. For 14 stop dynamic range, there are locks available in this camera: S-Lock 1, S-Lock 2, S-Lock 3. There are multiple type of locks, and the camera video profile available for shooting in this particular camera. So that was a really great feature. Contrast detection and phase detection points, which are 245, and they are saying it is world's fastest autofocus camera. So there are some sample footage which is uh, broadcasted by Sony Entertainment. They are showing one moving racing car and the running dog in that particular video. That looks awesome, but in real life, how that camera performs, we don't know yet. So we are really waiting to use this particular camera in our country. They used high density tracking system in this particular camera. So I don't know what it is, but still that feature they provided in this particular camera, similar to a 6000, they have same 11 raw pictures per second shooting ability, which is similar to a 6000. So that is also there. Similar same video format, XAVC format, which is high bitrate video format provided by Sony camera. So this is again similar same with X6000, but in this camera they have 4K with 100 Mbps, which is uh, which is really great feature, and we will love to use this particular feature.